Yo. Before we even start the video, we need to pay a special homage to our success. So for that, thank you guys for helping the channel grow, and thank you for supporting. Continue subscribing, liking, sharing, and everything. And yeah, welcome to the 7th kingdom. Give your heart and the world just to conquer. There's this one thing that I'm sure you've heard of before, and that's the whole concept of studying smarter and not harder. But most people don't really explain it. They don't give you the blueprint of how to actually do it. How do I actually study smarter and not harder? Stop talking about it, tell me how to do it. And that's where I come in. And you may challenge me about this, but I believe studying harder is the whole concept of who can put in the least amount of work and still get the best results. With the whole point being, it's so easy that you don't have to do it over and over again. It's so easy that you don't have to waste your time doing it over and over again. You can do it once and get the results like this. Therefore, it's easy. And I believe there's only one true way to do this. Instead of wasting your time studying books and gaining all this like pressure to read books and all these paragraphs and being so cramped up with the time, why not study the exam itself? Think about it, bro. Where have you ever heard this before? Study the exam itself. And what do I mean by that? Now your question might be, okay, but how do I study the exam itself? Through the only way that you can. Studying past question papers. And when I say studying past question papers, I'm not saying like take notes on past question papers, but what I mean is study the questions and study the answers. That's the only true way that you can ace any paper, bro. That's the only true way that you can study less and still get the best results. If you mainly focus on studying past question papers, you'll get even a better result than them people who study the whole term, who study the whole year. Of course, you have to have a little bit of knowledge with you, but at the end of the day, if you know how to answer the questions, if you can predict the question that they're going to ask, and if you can give them the exact answer that they want, then you won't fail, bro. So you're studying past question papers to understand the exam patterns and formats. Analyze past question papers to identify structure, recurring questions, and topics frequently tested on. Now, what do I mean by this? What you may realize if you've taken enough exams is that there are some questions that are repeated in each and every examination. There's like this whole concept, like in my day when I used to do a lot of exam question papers when I was still in school, in high school, because now I'm done. I did so many exam papers that I knew that, okay, from question 1 to maybe 3, I knew exactly what kind of questions they would ask. Maybe they would ask something like general or something basic, something. I knew exactly what they were going to ask. So when you study enough past exam question papers, you can now predict exactly what's going to come, and you know the exact answer that they're looking for. For example, right now, you may be in high school and you may be preparing for examinations, or if you're watching this late, you may be thinking of starting to prepare for examinations. So study past exam question papers to familiarize yourself with the structure of the paper, types of questions, and which questions you spend the most time on, allowing you to be more strategic about your approach to study. Now, another thing that I want to say also is that between the student who studies more hours and the student who studies less hours but has more questions, who do you think will pass, or who do you think will get a higher grade? Instinctively, your answer may be the person who studies more hours. But in all actuality, that's wrong. You only believe that because that's what you have been being told since you were born, bro. Since you were the youngest age, you've been being told if you study more, you get higher grades. And yes, that's not even wrong. That's true. But why not do the most effective thing? And you know what the most effective thing is? If you do more questions, that's when you get more questions right. People will do everything but exactly what they need to do. We will study more paragraphs, we'll study more books, we'll study more this and that. Why not study exactly what's going to come in the examination, the questions and the answers? You know what I mean? So think about that. I'll leave you to sit with that and move on to the next thing. Also, another thing that you want to do with your exam, with your past exam question papers, is to identify high yielding topics. What are high yielding topics? High yielding topics are topics that have a lot of marks, and usually these topics that have a lot of marks, they are repeated a lot of times in the exams. And what I want to say is that you analyze past question papers to identify topics or concepts that appear the most frequently and carry the most marks in examinations. Now, I'll be honest with you, bro. I'll tell you exactly how it is and how I used to study. You see, those questions that carry 1 or 2 marks, those questions are the ones that you need to study for. But the thing is, they carry low marks, 1 or 2 marks. The questions that carry high amounts of marks like 5, 7, or 10, with those questions, you need a method to answer them. You understand what I mean? No matter how much you study, if you don't know the format of how to answer those questions, you get it wrong. Have you ever been in an examination and then you saw a question that had a lot of marks, maybe 10 marks or 7 marks, and you're like, you know what? This question, I know it. If I answer this question, I'll be able to give them exactly what they gave me, the same 10 marks. But then when you go to results, you found out, damn, I lost a lot of marks on this question, or I didn't get the total. And you may be asking yourself, where did I go wrong? I gave all the information that I had in my mind. I literally crammed the passage this morning before I answered this question. So how come I lost a mark still? It's because there's a format to answer that question, but you didn't know it. So no matter how much you studied, or no matter how much you study in the future, if you don't know the format of how to answer those questions of high yielding topics and those questions that have a lot of marks, you will lose marks, bro. The person who didn't study but who knows the format knows exactly what to say, how to say it, what to say after each sentence, and how to structure that thing. But what you only have is what you read. If you read the whole paragraph, then you give irrelevant information, you give more information than you're supposed to. And that's one of the dangers of studying too much. You end up giving irrelevant information. But if you know the format, you can have that information and then know exactly what to input there. I don't know if you know this about keywords, key sentences, key phrases, and key points. In a whole paragraph, there'll be like maybe 5 key points. You can read a whole page, but they only need 5 points to make the full answer and give you like maybe those 10 marks. So that's why I'm saying know the format of how to answer the long, high-yielding questions, because they require format, keywords, and key sentences more than the actual knowledge of the whole understanding of the whole paragraph. They need specific things that they need, and if you know those specific things, you can read the whole paragraph and be like, you know what, this is the main point, this is the main point, this is the main point, this is the main point. And whenever you carry on from there on, after studying the questions and the answers that they need, when you move on to the next topic, you're also able to identify the key points, and now you can even use your studying to be more effective than what it was before. I hope you understood that. So the next thing that you also want to use your question papers for is to practice time management. And you may think, what is this time management? I don't need no time management. It's from a book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferris. You use past question papers to simulate exam conditions and practice time management skills under pressure. It's one of those things where you think you're ready, but you don't feel ready. And what do I mean by this? People usually, after studying, they think they're ready. Okay, I've studied, therefore I must be ready. But the thing is, do you feel ready? After studying, you should ask yourself, if an examination on this topic was tomorrow, would I be ready? And the moment you hesitate, that slight second of hesitation, of thinking, you know you're not ready. Give yourself time to actually think about how you're feeling in relation to the examination. You see people who study a lot, you can study all you want, but the moment you get in that examination room, all the pressure comes. Holy grail, I don't know if I studied everything, I don't know if I covered everything, and you start losing yourself under pressure. All the knowledge flies out. That's why I'm saying practice time management skills, so that you're able to assess yourself and know whether you're ready or not, and you're able to build that pressure on yourself and be like, okay, I need to finish section A in 30 minutes, section B in another 30 minutes, so that you build that pressure on yourself, so that when you get in that examination, you don't crack under pressure because you know there's no time. Most of us have never finished an examination. Not have never, but either once or twice or whenever, bro. There's a point in your life when you haven't finished an examination. So practice under pressure and put time yourself, bro, and make sure that you're ready, because exactly how you perform there is exactly how you're going to perform. Don't skip that. Another thing that past question papers will do for you is to test your knowledge. You can use them to test your knowledge, right? When you finish studying, you think, okay, I've studied, I'm ready. But the moment you answer those questions, you soon immediately realize how ready you're not. For example, you may be in class, right? And then your teacher says, guys, after we finish reading this topic or this passage, answer the questions below, an activity in class. You read, everything is going good, everything is fine. You're like, I understood everything about this topic, I understood the whole paragraph. Questions come. You realize, damn, I need to read the paragraph one more time, right? And that's the whole point of it's easy to read, but hard to answer the questions. You may understand everything, in the book, everything that you've just read, but answering the question is in a whole completely different level, bro. You need to know how to answer the questions. So before anything, no matter how much you've read, always test yourself with questions, because questions will test your knowledge and you see whether you're ready or not. And it also relates to the point that I made in the previous point. Okay, bro, I had gotten busy and now I'm back, so let's continue. As I was saying, answering past question papers successfully builds your confidence in your ability to perform well in examinations. For example, if you are a learner who consistently scores high marks on past exam question papers, and let's be more specific, maybe in one subject, maybe geo, math, or bio, whatever that you're doing, if you consistently score high marks in that one subject, then of course you're gonna be high in confidence, and whenever the exam comes, you don't have to deal with that nonsense of I have anxiety, I can't breathe, I'm struggling to find my flow. You don't struggle with all of that because you're confident, and because of that you even perform higher and get better grades than the person who studied more. Why? Because they have to go through all of that anxiety and deal with it and calm themselves down, whereby you're already halfway through the examination and you're getting the correct answers, right? Because you're confident in that paper. And also, one thing about confidence is that when you're confident, it's a scientific study and there's a whole proof around it. When you're confident, your brain works faster, you're more quicker on your toes, you don't hesitate more. Everything that you do it with a punch, and it's like your brain knows that you know what you're doing, so it trusts you, you trust yourself, so therefore you're going to do your things more effectively and just flow, bro. It's easier to enter in a flow state. Another thing also that past question papers may do for you is improve your exam technique. It's from a book called How to Study in College by Walter Pauk, P-A-U-K, Walter Pauk. How to Study in College. So it's specifically for school, this book. So the technique goes like this. Practicing with past question papers helps refine exam taking techniques such as question interpretation, structuring questions, and managing time effectively. Now this is exactly what we talked about. Now, for example, what this is talking about is that you basically know what to do throughout your examination. If you get a question, you know exactly what to do, because why? You're familiar with the exam structure, with the exam questions, and managing time effectively. And also, one important thing that it talks about is question interpretation. It's not hard for you to answer the questions because you understand exactly what they're talking about. You know exactly what they're talking about, what they're asking for, so you give them the correct answer. Have you ever been in a situation whereby you thought they were asking something else and then you gave the answer for that thing, but then when the results came back, you found out you went off topic and you actually gave the wrong answer? This is what they're talking about. So it improves your exam taking technique. There's technique to every examination, bro. That's why there are people who get 100%. And if you speak to all of those people, they speak about exam technique. And it's something that I had never heard in my life before I also did my research and started doing this thing. Exam taking technique. People literally go to night schools to prepare for taking examinations, to learn exam taking techniques. That's crazy, bro. That some people don't even know about this. One of the most important things that using past question papers may do for you is tracking your progress. Regularly using past question papers to track your progress and measure improvement over time can be very beneficial to you. And a real life example that I can give you is, instead of waiting for every term to end so that you can get assessed on whether you're improving or regressing only 3 times a year, why not maybe every week? If you keep on improving and consistently getting a high mark in the question papers that you do consistently, like regularly, then it's boosting everything, bro. Your confidence, your skills, your understanding of structure, patterns, formats, everything. So instead of waiting for every term so that you can get assessed only 3 times a year, do it maybe every week. After each and every week, take a paper for any subject, especially the ones that you're struggling with, and then find out where you now lie. You've studied, you think you're ready now, take a question paper and use it. Test yourself, bro. Because if you consistently get a high mark in the practice question papers, then guess what you're going to do on the actual examination? Guess how you're going to perform? The same way. As I said, the people who set these examinations, bro, they've been doing it for the last decade. It may be the same person, and if it's not the same person, then it's a new person who's going to look at previous examinations or how they used to set them. And if it's not a new person who looks to the past, then it's a new person from the same group of people. They discuss. Teachers discuss, bro. You might find out a teacher from this school may know a teacher from the other school, and a teacher from this province may know a teacher from this province, and it just goes on and on and on, bro. So these teachers, bro, it's like one group of people, one set of people who know each other, who study these examinations. So one thing that you also have to realize is that they may think alike. So therefore the questions may be the same. And if you do this thing of practicing their question papers each and every week, by the end of the year, when you want to move on to the next grade, or you're finally getting your final results, you're going to do exactly how you were doing in those past practice question papers. So with that being said, I hope you learned something from this video. And bro, this is one of my biggest advices. If I were to give someone and I wanted them to truly perform well in an examination, or basically in their whole academic career. And if you learned something from this video, or if you believed anything that I said in this video, then please share with people who you think may need this, be it your friend, your brother, your cousin, whoever it may be. If you think it helped you and it may help them. And with that being said, bro, thank you so much for 125 subscribers, and we're continuing to grow. There's no way but up. With that being said, welcome to the 7th kingdom. Give your heart and the world is yours to conquer. Take care.